Hello and welcome to Satya. My name is Sana. I will be your host today. And on this episode, we have with us Brynhilda. Welcome, Bryn.
Thank you.
Brynhilda she has a master's degree in education, specialized in psychology, sociology, and consulting. She has been practicing yoga and tantra for more than a decade. She's also teaching both. She specialized even in tantra for women, which is where we actually met for the first time. And she's also becoming a life coach and love and relationship coach.
Exactly.
So I invited you today to speak about the importance of spiritualizing our relationships. And I just want to ask you first, like, how come you're so passionate about relationships?
Yeah, so thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me to your podcast. I am feeling very excited being here and speaking with you about this topic so dear and close to my heart. And why love and relationships? Because from all the things that I studied so far, of course, spirituality is for me the basis of everything and the lens through how I view life, and of course also relationships and everything that we encounter in daily life. But throughout everything, I always find myself most interested and excited about like how are we with the people very close to us, and how are we in our intimate relationships, the love relationships, but also all the others, because I truly believe that the people that are close to us, and especially the love relationships, have a very deep impact on us. Even studies have shown that people with happy, fulfilled and loving relationships, they live 15 to 20 years longer.
Wow, that's quite a lot.
Yes, so we can imagine how big is the impact of our intimate, erotic and romantic life. And that's just me. I'm always interested in that area, and there's a lot out there. There are many love and relationship coaches out there, and what I love is just to bring these things together, to have a spiritual, a yogic, tantric approach to these things, and that's what I love doing.
Do you want to say a little bit more about what you consider a spiritual relationship?
Sure. Let's dive right in. And I like that question because I truly believe that we are spiritual beings making a human experience. So the question is, how can actually something be non-spiritual? And obviously we all transform throughout the course of our life from a little baby into a person that eventually will die. So transformation, change is happening anyway. So we all go through that. We all have experience in our lives, sometimes even very unexpected, like crisis, life-changing situation, to the good or to the more challenging side, let's say. And it always depends on how do we deal with these things. And so I guess everybody is capable to be spiritual, or to have like a spiritual approach towards life. It is more, I dare saying, about a conscious decision that personal growth, transformation, and putting spiritual values very high in your priority list, that makes a relationship consciously spiritual.
And when we already have an existing relationship, how can we make it more spiritual? Or how can we not even more, but how can we start making our relationship spiritual?
Yeah. I think it is very much about this concept of spirituality in general, that what we aim to do is to go deeper, right? And to, when it comes to a relationship, not just to unite our bodies and our mind, but also our soul, and just to go very deep and profound. And I think it always starts with ourselves, and to be interested in ourselves, not in an egoistic way, but to be really curious about who am I actually, and what is it, what is truly driving me in life, like what are my values, where do I want to go in life, to answer the fundamental questions. This is also how it all started for me, to realize, okay, I have already accomplished so many things in my life on the material side, and what society and family and our surrounding teach us when we are young and when we are growing up, what it is that we should aspire to. And then eventually at one point we realize that all these outer things, they lack somehow in depth, and eventually make us feel unfulfilled. And then from here I think it all starts to go deeper within ourselves. And for me it was that at one point I always had like, I would like to have a relationship that is like connected from the heart, and where it's less about settling down, as it is said, like to find somebody to feel safe with, to acquire material goods together, like the classical, let's get married, buy a house, have a baby and a house and a fence and a cake on Sundays, which doesn't exclude the spiritual concept at all, but it's going further than that, and to really connect on a profound level with the other one, and to see what is the essence actually of me, of you, of us together, and how can we evolve to the best, like to become together the best version of ourselves, and supporting each other in this personal, individual, but also process together.
So it sounds like the more we become spiritual, the more obviously our life reflects this, and the more our relationships will become also more spiritual relationships. But how, if our partner is not really into spirituality, like, can we still spiritualize our relationship with that partner, even if they are not interested at all in doing these practices? Or
well, that's a great question, because that is something that I hear often, like even that fear of, I am like super interested spiritually, and what happens if I start to be more interested in that area and my partner isn't, and then that, like, lots of people
that's
are
a big
coming.
Fear, no?
yes, and people are super eager, they come to the yoga course, and you feel that this is an issue, because the question is popping up, and we experience that if for us we find something new, our horizon opens, and then we want this to share with everybody, and then sometimes it can happen that we encounter resistance, and the other people are not as enthusiastic as we are. But I was contemplating that, and also my own experience is that we don't have to be afraid of that, because if we truly are settled into our spirituality, and if we truly have an aspiration to love, most of all, and all that comes with that, like to really seeing the other person, to love unconditionally, to be compassionate, to be kind, to be loving, then what we naturally want to do is to support the other person, and to help the other person grow, and to offer a space where we can do that together, even though we maybe have different priorities at the moment. But if the common ground is loving each other first of all, and helping the other, then this doesn't have to contradict. And I think what is very important in that process is to have an open and honest communication about that, and from there I think almost everything can be dealt with. And as there is this beautiful saying that when love becomes infinite, the impossible becomes possible.
So beautiful. And it's true, like eventually relationships are based on love, and it doesn't matter if one is spiritual or not. It's like love is anyway the basis of it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's very beautiful.
Exactly.
What would you say are the biggest challenges that couples encounter in spiritualizing their relationship?
First I would like to honor that a relationship is a brave endeavor to go on, because when we are becoming two from being just by oneself, we are already like exposing ourselves to the other one. Like the other one is naturally mirroring us, is showing us our good parts, but also where we have our blind spots, where we don't even noticed or knew before that we have shortcomings, right? And that's a challenge for relationships in general, to be open to receive feedback and to be willing to look at the shortcomings that we have, to deal with our past, with our traumas, with our patterns, like all these things that make us us. And therefore I think to be in a spiritual relationship or to spiritualize a relationship is actually a way to lovingly taking care of all these things. Because what happens if we don't do that, we put the things under the rug and we pretend like everything is fine, and we just don't go there, because of course it's painful. It's not fun all the time, even though being honest and open and vulnerable with each other creates a very strong intimacy and deep connection, which I believe all of us are craving for. Eventually we express this in different ways. Also, men and women are pretty different in actually the fundamental needs that we have and how they translate into daily life and how we interact with each other. But I think this going deeper to spiritualize the relationship is actually something beneficial. And what we always have is our, let's say, our more egoistic tendencies that keep us from loving, basically, and to continue on the path of our relationship and to keep the relationship as fresh and easy and loving and exciting and all the wonderful things that we have in the beginning. And I think the biggest challenge, to answer your question, in a spiritual relationship is that when we understand more, we have more knowledge, also from a spiritual point of view, we kind of risk to be a little bit, let's say, with a nose up, or to think like we know better, and to think that we already know everything. And there is humility and humbleness coming in to understand that the other one is always a mirror. And so what I'm referring to is that it's likely to develop also a spiritual ego in a relationship, and where we have to tackle these issues that we think, but I already learned that in the Tantra class, and by the way, you have to do like that, and then I'm thinking about transforming myself. So that is an additional thing, that we have more information that we could use in order to get the other one doing what we like them to do, or just to think that we are right. But in a love relationship, I like to see it like that it's not about who is right, but about who loves more. And that could be eventually a solution when these issues are coming up.
So again, it's just all about loving.
Yes, we could cut this short and just say it's all about loving. Exactly. Just love and do whatever you want, like Saint Augustine is saying us. Yeah.
You mentioned there that men and women, that we have different needs and things like this. What are the different roles for men and women in such a relationship, other than loving, of course?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good, important, and also tricky question, because nowadays, with all the gender policy that came up in the last years, this became much more tricky to answer that question in a Tantra class, for example, and going back, like leaving all these things aside, going back to the ancient teachings that are over 3,000 years old. When we look at relationship and also life from a tantric perspective, it's about the two polarities that create the entire manifestation. As we also know from other traditions, there's the plus and the minus, the yin and the yang, the sun and the moon, the lunar and the solar, and the feminine and the masculine. And they attract each other and they create everything. And when we boil that down to a relationship, then it is very beneficial when the man is taking care of his polarity and the woman is taking care of her polarity. And what we also know is that we both have both energies, both polarities inside of us. Even though we are both women, we also have quite an amount of masculine energy inside of us. And Tantra and spirituality is inviting us basically to make the best out of what we're given and to create a strong polarity so that we have a very strong attraction. So because the bigger the two poles are, the stronger is the attraction, and who doesn't want that? And then it can be also very fluid in the daily interaction. So it's not like, okay, the guy always has to chop the wood while the woman is in the kitchen preparing the meal. So these are the stereotypes and what we consider very masculine and feminine. And nowadays, anyhow, things are much more fluid. And what I always say is, please observe. Observe what is doing when you do like several kind of things. And me being very interested also in how to foster feminine energy, I'm always say to women, see how you feel when you take the lead and when you take the decisions and when you tell your man what to do. Like, how do you feel and how does it change or influence the dynamics between the two of you? And do you like to rather feel taken care of and to to feel safe and relaxed and all these things that make us feel good? So that's a journey of exploration, I would say. And to also take the feedback from your relationship upon the things that work and that do not work, and to really decide where do you want to go in the relationship. And there is basically one person who is, from a tantric point of view, who is manifesting the consciousness part, and one manifesting the energetic part. And when we go into that spiritual realm, the masculine polarity is the one that is the one guiding us towards everything that is upwards oriented, towards, we can say, to the light, to the unity and so on. And the feminine is all the energy, everything that is moving, everything that is tangible in life. So basically everything that we can see and that is active is the feminine. And to find a way in a relationship to harmoniously blend these two opposite dynamics is what makes us feel good actually in a relationship. And and that's the beauty of the exploration.
How is it for singles? Like, if you are single and you want to start a spiritual relationship, like, is this something you would just, you go there on Tinder and you're like, hey, I want a spiritual relationship? Or how do you start this? Like, it's different when you're already an existing couple and you choose together, like, okay, I want to use we want to use this relationship for transformation. We look together at what you're now saying about the masculine, the feminine, and how these roles manifest within our relationship. But then as a single, it's like, how do you start?
Yeah. Very good point also to consider what do you actually want. Like to be very honest with yourself, and to even before you go on such a dating platform or even going out into life, to be actually conscious about what you want. And you can even write it down, and to be very clear and self-confident. This is me, my main priority in life is to be happy, to be fulfilled, to be healthy, and to have a spiritual direction in life. And when we truly incorporate that and we radiate that, we will attract likewise people. And I think it's actually a very good idea to be very transparent and open about that. So just to be yourself, basically, when you put yourself out there, and when the conversation is starting about what are you doing, and even to consciously lead the conversation there, like, hey, what are your goals in life, and what matters to you? What do you want to spend your time at? Like, who are the important people in your life, and how do you take care of yourself and others? I mean, these are all kind of normal questions, but they somehow can be taken also from a very deep spiritual level and even lead there. And I think it's even good to be honest about that, and to in a loving, nice and sweet way to express that this is what you're looking for, and that you would like to find somebody to enjoy life together, and to enjoy the depth of life and the couple relationship with all the amazing experience that we can have together, and then to see what comes up, and also to honestly to save ourselves time if the other one wants something else in life. I mean, it's everybody's right to decide for themselves where they want to go, and whom to spend time with, and with what. And that is also actually one of the main things that I encourage women to do, to be very confident about that when they're dating. And it's very attractive also to be very clear about wants and needs and aspirations in life, and to take care of them.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Pleasure.
How can people reach you?
Well, I have.
I want to know more about you.
I'm having a website, www.brynhilda.com. It's my feminine energy, love, and relationship coaching site, and I'm offering free 15 minutes consultations there to check in with me. So please check out my website, and further ways to reach me very soon. And I'm happy to have been part of your podcast.
Thank you very much for joining. I learned a lot today, and I learned that I need to love more. And I will write your website and everything also in the description, so you can listen to you can read the description below of this podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you join us again next time.